When they put makeup on me for the first time when I was 7 years old, this was the foundation shade they used. I was constantly reminded by my family that out of all of my cousins, I was born the darkest. My mom would always reassure me that when I grew older, my skin would get lighter. And 7-year-old me would think, thank goodness, there's still a chance, maybe one day I'll actually be beautiful. Growing up in South India, I was surrounded by people who had dark skin, but I learned very quickly that the small amount of people who had fair skin were held at a higher regard. Growing up, I was rarely called beautiful, and every time I left the house to do anything, I was slathered in sunscreen and told to avoid the sun at any given cost. I grew up watching Bollywood movies and seeing nobody that looked like me. Women who didn't even know the language would be asked to play the leads in these movies because going through the trouble of teaching someone an entirely new language is way better than having someone who looks like me star in a high-scale production. When I moved to America, my suspicions were completely solidified. After so many times of trying, I just accepted that there was never going to be a point in time that I could walk into a store and find a shade of foundation that would match me. I completely gave up on the idea of using eyeshadow because every single palette that I bought, the colors never showed up on my eyelids, and if I wore any of the browns that were in the standard neutral palettes, they looked muddy and completely unflattering. Every single summer when I would go back home to India, I would think, maybe this is the year that I'll finally find something that will look good on my skin tone. And every year I would look, and every year I would return home very disappointed and very empty-handed. I came to the conclusion that makeup was just made for people who were supposed to be beautiful, and if companies weren't able to put things on the shelves that worked for me, that meant that it was just impossible. And this is when I started to learn a little bit more about colorism. I started seeing how colorism affected my life every single day. I realized how backwards it was to expect me to adhere to a standard that I just genetically am not able to reach, nor do I want to. And after a couple of years of growing my confidence, my family realized that I was not going to bleach my skin, I was not going to stay out of the sun, and I was not going to stay quiet when they made colorist remarks. No one is born hating their skin. That is a taught behavior. Seeing makeup transformations like the one that I stitched in 2022 is heartbreaking. I remember the disgust and the frustration that I would feel looking in the mirror and feeling like I was so much less than the rest of my family. If this is who you want to be on your wedding day, your birthday, your everyday life, that's up to you. But at the end of the day, this is you. And don't let anyone take that away from you, especially because a lot of these people are paying a lot of money to look like you. Trends change like this, but having dark skin, having ethnic features, that's not a trend. That's our lives. Becoming confident and embracing who you are as a person and embracing your skin color is not easy, but it's absolutely possible. I went from cowering at the beach, lathering myself up with the highest SPF that CVS offered, to experiencing life and not hiding. Go out in the sun, go wear bright colors, go wear pastel colors, wear the brightest eyeshadow and lipstick that you want, because dark skin, that is not limiting you. Don't change yourself because the people who you love have not grown past what they've been taught. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror. Look in the mirror with love, respect, and admiration. And in fact, look at every single mirror that you pass because that's what you deserve.